Welcome to the Pinning Combination Podcast of KJ Pilcher, alongside the Predicament's Wyatt Schultz and Coach Dick Briggs, bringing you some discussions on college wrestling from last weekend's results to what might be coming up on the calendar here in the next week. Thanks for tuning in and watching. We appreciate it every week. And let's jump right into it. Iowa closed out their road schedule Saturday with a 27-9 victory over Michigan. The team overall looked pretty dominant, but of course one of the two matches they lost was the biggie, literally and figuratively, at heavyweight, where Mason Parris scored a fall over Tony Cassioppi and actually looked really, really impressive getting that win.
I would agree, yeah.
You mean Parris, or is that his name? Yeah, Parris. Yeah.
Mason Parris.
Yeah, he really cradled old Cassioppi up, and
even prior to that, with the scrambles on the feet, and just
both of them
very athletic. I mean, he does a very athletic Russian spin for that first takedown, and then he was in on it was an ankle shin whizzer, and he does a pick from there, and just really some athletic stuff.
But even the firemen's, or the Kelly that he got
started.
in, and then Cassioppi countered it.
Right,
It was
yeah,
like, wow.
Good action.
Yep, looked really dominant. And Cassioppi, after that opening takedown, the carry that you mentioned, he fought it off for a second, but Parris continued to wrestle and ended up with a takedown. But after that, it was Cassioppi that initiated the offense and got in on a couple really nice, single those snatches, those high snatches. But he looked like he tried to be patient and tried to work his way through it, and you can't stall it. Not stall as in stall, but just kind of stops what you're doing, pause. Mm-hmm. And it gave Parris the opportunity to react, and boy, he capitalized on.
Right, and I've spoke highly of Cassioppi from what I've seen. Mm-hmm. So for Parris to do that, I think, a really great wrestler. And for Tony, it doesn't get any easier.
Right.
Now
got Minnesota coming up with Gable Stevenson.
But also, in that cradle situation, I don't know if you noticed after the match, he was kind of limping off. So Cassioppi was. So I'll be curious to see how that works out this week.
And it looks like he has he had a compression sleeve on his leg as well. Mm-hmm. That he was wrestling with. So hopefully it's nothing real serious. Maybe we'll see with Stevenson coming up, and if he was limping off the mat, maybe we'll see Costello for.
I wonder if we won't
this next one
as
well.
I would almost guess that. That would be my.
Yeah, and even if he's not hurt, wouldn't be a bad thing. Maybe, I don't know. You're going to see, obviously in the duel, Stevenson, and then likely in the Big Tens, and then maybe again. So that's maybe just if you don't the team doesn't need him. Sometimes when you get pinned or aren't successful, don't get your hand raised. Sometimes those injuries can be a little more when you're walking off the mat.
Feel a little more.
But I was actually kind of listening to Ironside at the same time, watching the match, and he goes, these heavyweights are just about more fun than 97. So,
sure.
So,
especially those two.
Yeah.
Some other just kind of noteworthy observances from the duel. Max Murin's still out at 141, but Carter Happel with his second straight Big Ten duel victory, and that's something that he's had some quality wins in the past, and kind of had two tough back-to-back ones with Pilcher and Lee, who have just kind of rolled through their competition, their opponents anyway. But to see him win two straight.
And he did a good job, because it was Matten, is that who he's wrestling? Mm-hmm. Was hitting that same sweep single, I believe it was, and hit it about 2 or 3 times, and you could see Happel just timing it. So as soon as he hit it, he countered and got the takedown.
Yeah, after that, about that second or third time, then you could see it, or he could see it coming.
Yep.
And then Cash Wilkie stepped in at 184. I would almost guess it was probably a chance for Abasad just to kind of regroup and regather, just kind of gather himself here with a week
I would
off.
say so too.
Give him a little bit of break after back-to-back losses last weekend. But what a nice luxury to have. Your backup can go in there and beat a ranked top 20 guy.
Right. And what I liked in that match was he did what I call a chocolate malt. When I was coaching, I would call it a chocolate malt. And if anyone ever got it, I gave them a certificate to go get a chocolate malt.
Really?
Or whatever flavor they want. I just like chocolate.
Sure.
It's like, it was easy to say chocolate malt. Chocolate malt. While they're wrestling. So basically what it was it's an escape and a takedown right away. So you shoot right away. And he did that. He did a nice job, got a 1 and 2. And but then he kind of shut down towards the end. I know wrestling a great wrestler, but I was concerned that on the edge of the mat, he was going to get shot off and get dinged for a point, which would have tied it if I remember right. And but the Michigan wrestler didn't do that. Didn't shoot him off. Didn't I think that was his one opportunity to get a second chance in the mat. If I recall, it would have went into sudden victory. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So.
Yep. And then at 125, Spencer Lee with a pretty dominant performance, 8-1, but it's the one time he hasn't scored bonus points. Jack Medley able to keep it within the decision. Just a little bit of an asterisk, but...
Isn't that funny? He only got, was a 7-point win, I believe.
Yeah.
And disappointed.
Come on, Spencer.
Nobody's disappointed. Don't get me in trouble.
No, I'm saying.
They hate me in Iowa State.
Because I'm thinking the same thing. We all are. It's like, this guy's dominated everyone in the first period.
But my take on that match, though, was, what's his name? Medley. Mm-hmm. Controlled that one arm of Spencer's that whole match, and to keep him from getting that bar arm in there, whether that was actually the case or not, but that was kind of what I was looking at.
Right. And he did look tired at the end, and I don't know whether it was, here's thoughts in my mind. Was it because of travel? Because they've been doing some traveling. Is it because of weight reduction? Is it because he had a good match and was just tired? Hasn't been to the third period very often. Mm-hmm. Is it those types of things? So, and did he press real hard? Yeah, he was working hard, so he deserved to be tired. But to me, that was one thing that kind of was like, oh, are we all right? Not big deal. We won by 7 and all that, but we need to get. Maybe that wasn't a bad thing for him to go deep, into the match, and because he's going to have to do it here at the Big Tens and Nationals.
And we'll put it in perspective still. His last opponents, he's outscored 118-3. So even with an 8-1 victory, he's outscored his last 8 opponents by 115 points.
And Medley has scored a third of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So Iowa, kind of took care of business the rest of the way through. Marinelli scored 18 points. Kemmerer with a tech fall and has won 30 straight dual matches.
I was kind of looking forward to Lugo and Storr.
Sure.
And it wasn't much excitement going on there. It was just
Lugo got the escape and then rode him out.
Yeah.
But that actually surprised me.
Yeah. The third period ride, and I think Lugo is. I think he surprises people with how tough he. You look at how well he does on his feet and in neutral, but he's actually a pretty strong rider. He's good on top.
Yeah.
And that showed in the third period as well. So now Iowa comes back home. Their last 2 duels will be at Carver this Saturday in a really weird time, 8:30 on a Saturday night. They'll host Minnesota. I think Minnesota just got thumped by Penn State.
Yeah.
So
is that a Big Ten network? Is that on?
It's on
decision?
I think it's on. So I'm sure that 8:30 has something to do with
Big
TV
Ten
accommodations. But would make for a nice Saturday to go to high school districts or compete, watch, whatever, and then head to Carver. to get that to watch that duel. Could be some interesting matchups depending on who's in the lineups for each team. One that Iowa probably should win pretty handily, though. And it's just amazing how Iowa's just run roughshod through Big Ten opponents outside of Penn State. I mean, you're talking about no less than 7 matches won against the likes of Ohio State.
Top 5 teams.
Michigan, even though Michigan's kind of a shadow of itself at the moment because of Olympic red shirts, but Nebraska, Wisconsin, stuff like that.
Right. We said it before. If the injury bug can stay away, and it hasn't really, we just got to hope that now it can stay away from now on, and then those that are can get back in and be competitive. So, and the Olympic red shirt. Let's see, Micic. 2 of them are Olympians, right? For Michigan.
2 of them are already.
I'm not sure, I'm not even sure what countries.
One of them is San Marino. Who's the older Amin? Is it?
I think that's
Amin?
right.
He's for San Marino, and I can't remember what Micic is. If it's Serbia or. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, I think that does sound right.
But yeah, 2 of them.
It does.
2 of them are already going to be Olympians, so that's pretty cool for their program. And did you notice that Michigan's a very young team? There was a lot of freshmen, and I think a sophomore or 2 in there as well. And so, they took their lumps against Iowa, but I think next year, years to come, they're going to be pretty good. So.
Yes, Micic has already made the Serbian Olympic team.
There you go.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Amin is with San Marino.
I think that sounds right. I did hear it.
So, Iowa State was also in action this weekend. They went down to Oklahoma, came away with a 22-14 victory over the Sooners. Just looking here, 6 victories, including a few bonus point wins. In there, Marcus Coleman, Alex Mackel, and Gannon Gremmel with majors. But, a good showing for them, kind of getting ready for this weekend.
It just fascinates me, because or at least I do, think of Oklahoma as being one of the elite programs, and yet UNI and Iowa State both have beat them now this year.
Yeah, they've been down for
I know they have,
so.
but I
they
still
were
have
one of the big 4 back in the
right.
day. Iowa State,
and you still have that
Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, right?
I still have that Oklahoma thing in my head, where
actually they might be a little improved from
where
they've been.
Exactly.
A couple of noteworthy things there. Coach Dresser's got to be a little bit mixed emotions, though. I do think you look at the results, and I do see improvement. The matches that they lost were actually pretty close matches to,
especially at 41.
Right, to higher ranked kids. A little bit higher ranked, but small loss. He's ranked 16th, loss to the 15th ranked kid by a point or 2 or whatever. And then was it 74? This one's still up there. That's one of the mixed emotions one. Colbray wins in sudden victory 1, over the 14th ranked kid. Nice win, but. And Colbray's unranked right now, but at one time he was ranked very high at 84, and so that unranked is and maybe in some polls he is ranked, but
I just wonder if 74 really is a good fit for
been
him.
wondering that,
right now it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. If things will get ironed out.
And you mentioned 41 with Parker and one of my favorite wrestlers. I'm not shy about saying that. Dom Dumas. He's so exciting, but that was a 3-1 match in sudden victory 1 also, I think, with Dumas winning that, on the takedown. So, I mean, I just love watching that guy wrestle because he's usually wide open. But Parker's been wrestling well lately. And
it's nice to have him there. You got, with Deegan back as well. I know Small stubbed his toe a little bit at 133, but the bottom of that lineup is really kind of starting that front half. Carr did not wrestle, but if they're at full strength, that 25 through 57 is really
pretty solid.
And Deegan, it doesn't seem like he's back 100% yet. So it's good that he's getting these matches in to get there for the Big 12s and NCAAs.
Yeah, and especially this weekend, really odd. They wrestle West Virginia Saturday night at 7 p.m. and turn around at 2 o'clock on Sunday. That's the second time they've had.
Is that right? Saturday to Sunday?
Yeah.
Now,
no
I'm sure that is the West Virginia dual a Big 12 schedule, and then Dresser maybe scheduled the. I forgot that UNI's in the Big 12 now.
Yep.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Just kind of a goofy way. It's better situation because I think it was Okie State that had that
night and afternoon.
Yeah. So at least they're at home. It's they're not traveling or anything like that. So maybe not so much a big deal for Iowa State being at home and having that. But then you've got UNI coming in on Sunday with the afternoon start at 2 p.m. UNI and ISU. Kind of a big deal now.
It's tight. It's very tight. I have at one point in my.
Yeah, I didn't go through it, but
it's tight. Bonus points obviously could be factors, and if there's an upset or please don't have an injury like with Iowa or anything like that. But obviously something like that could be a big swing.
Yeah, it's automatic 6 points.
Or
more.
Or if what might have been. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So depending on whether or not Carr is in the lineup at 57. I've got Iowa State winning by 2, or UNI winning by, let's see, what would it be? 5.
Depending on Carr, or
yeah, I think 157. That's a match that UNI could win if Carr's not in the lineup. If not, it's a chance for Iowa State to get bonus points and be the difference. And that's with a couple weight, we were talking about it off air. Heavyweight, Gannon Gremmel's wrestled very, very well. Isley's wrestled well.
Exactly.
That could go either way. And we've seen, I think, Wyatt, you're the one who mentioned just how many points that Gremmel has been putting up in matches. That's certainly one that can go either way.
Yeah, because he won 14-3 the other day and all, and I don't care. That's a lot of points for a heavyweight anymore. So he can put them up.
Yeah, and 165. Not maybe the marquee guys, but you've got individuals. I think Austin Yant has had some nice wins.
Yeah, yes.
You got Chase Straw, who was a Big 12 champ. That's a match that really, could go either way as well. So it's going to be, 149. You talked about Dagan, and Thompson. You don't know what you're going to get. Dagan just being back in the lineup. Thompson's been kind of up and down. You never know how that's going to play out.
It'd be nice, from Thompson's perspective, it'd be a nice, because he's been so close, but just hasn't beaten those ranked kids, and it'd be nice for him to get that. Obviously, Dagan wants to get himself established back, after his injury here. So there's gonna be a battle there for sure.
Yeah, and then 125. You look at it on paper and you think Mackel, should come away with a win, but you've got somebody as dangerous as Schwarm, who is tied for the lead.
National pin leader,
Yeah.
In the nation, yeah.
So that's a match that, with a minute to go, could look like 3 or 4 points for Iowa State and turn into 6.
6. It could be a 9, 12, or 10-point swing.
Yeah. Gosh, the more I talk about it, the more fun that dual sounds.
I'm looking at 1, 2, 3.
I might have to
4 weights with ranked wrestlers against each other. So, it should be fun.
Might have to buzz over there.
You have it being a 1-point difference?
I had a 1-point difference, and it wasn't for the purple. So come on, purple.
And of course, that's a former UNI All-American talking as well.
And I love both schools, don't you? I love other competitors, but
So big weekend as we're getting closer and closer to conference meets. They'll be here before you know it, because I think
and UNI was off all the last week, so they've had a week off.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. I mean, I'll say this up front. I don't know anything about the situation at 197. Something that I need to be more diligent about and talk to Coach Schwab. But, I don't know if there's a chance that, Jacob Holschlag might be back. And that also is another variable that if Holschlag were able to come back and makes an appearance, that changes 197 drastically in this duel.
And I've heard rumors both ways. Could be back, could be done.
Okay.
And that's actually what I heard over the weekend myself.
Could be, both ways.
Iowa State has a busy weekend the following weekend with Missouri, a trip to Missouri, and then they have a makeup duel with North Dakota State on the 23rd. UNI has a non-conference duel with Wisconsin after that, but this is kind of their both schools' home stretch before the Big 12 championship in Tulsa, first weekend in March. But you were at the Battle of the Bergs on last Thursday.
Both of
you guys were.
Let's hear your. What do you think?
I was actually surprised because was it Vasky? Is that his name?
Yes.
And Bennick were both out.
No, Jeske.
Jeske.
You're thinking of Vassar. I thought you were thinking of
Jeske.
Jeske
and Bennick. Bennick. They were both out. Two former national champs. And,
for Augsburg.
Yeah, for Augsburg. And they were out.
So there are three former national champs that didn't wrestle.
Yeah.
Because Rathman was out for Wartburg.
And they fell behind, 4 matches to 1 to start off the duel. Wartburg did, and then to come back and hit them last 5 matches.
Right, including 2 in that last 5 stretch by at one point, which included the last match. Brady Fritz from South Tama did it. I mean, every time I see that kid out on the mat, he just impresses me more and more and more. And then this match. He's wrestling the defending national champion, whom he's actually beaten 3 times now, and it was a gutty takedown in the 3rd period with a pretty fun return to the mat for the takedown, and for the win for the team and the gym and everything. There was a very good crowd in the gym.
Yeah, it was a full house.
It was a full house. There weren't many empty seats if there were any.
Yeah, if they haven't been to the Wartburg gym. It's a pit, or you walk down, and basically standing room all the way around, which I always think is kind of cool when the bleachers are full and you're standing around watching. And
right. So the Battle of the Bergs did not disappoint.
No, because it came down. It was 16-14 going into the last match with Fritz.
Yeah, right, and he won it. So if he'd have lost it, it would have been 17-16.
Right,
exactly. So, and anyway, since they've had the belt, they have a belt that they pass back and forth, goes in this trophy case. Since they made that belt, was it 9 years ago? I think 8 or 9 years ago.
It's never left the gym.
It's never left the state. It's never been that north border thing. It has it doesn't like cold weather or something.
Which really fascinates me, considering the program that Augsburg has, and in that time that they have never beaten Wartburg in this duel.
Well, and last year they ran away at the national duels and national duels and the NCAA, and that was their one toast up, and that was a fabulous meet last year too. So that Battle of the Bergs never disappoints. It's kind of a big deal.
And how about just great wrestling in Eastern Iowa here in the last week and a half? You had number 1 versus number 2 on the NCAA Division I level. Within a week, you had 1 versus 2 at the Division III level, and that was on the same night that you had 2 duels featuring number 1 versus number 2 in Class 1A and Class 2A at the high school level.
Pretty cool. When we got up to Wartburg the other night, I forget who I was talking to, but anyway, we thought, it would have been fun to get, say, Southeast Polk up there to wrestle Waverly, to have that 3A number 1 versus number 2.
Right?
Yeah.
Before the
typically they do, like we spoke before, bring down a Minnesota school or whatever. I'm not sure why that didn't happen this year. But so that would have been neat. Yeah. There's some other good meets going on as well, or at least rival type meets. Loras at Russell University of Dubuque, that was pretty much a shellacking.
Yeah, it was
49-0 or something.
46
like that.
to
46-0.
Yeah,
and then Co and Cornell at the Brenner Cup, and that was not close. Maybe 36-9, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, it was. Oh no, you're
34-9.
34-9.
Yep.
Yeah, and they won. Co won 7 out of the 10 matches.
I think 8.
Got out pretty.
7. Yeah, 7.
Yeah, got out to the kind of an early. They got pins early on. Some majors. Co didn't even have their full lineup. Riley Wright wasn't in at 141. And then Cole Erickson did not wrestle for him as well. So, they still handle things pretty easily. There, Henderson looked pretty good. Caleb Reeves dominated. Taylor Maiman, obviously ranked second, took care of business. So it was a good night. Pretty dominant fashion.
I got to tell you, I'm a wrestling geek, right? Mm-hmm. So as we all are, right? So I have 2 screens at home on my computer. So I've got the. I think I had maybe the Loras Dubuque meet here, and I was looking for the Cornell meet, but it didn't have a link, and I thought, well, gosh, I can't believe they're not showing it on video. And so then I put up the Upper Iowa meet with Mankato, and then about halfway through, I realized that the evidently now I looked again and it was up, so I put that up, and so I'm going back and forth with all this wrestling and just having a blast doing it. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I will say Cornell with a nice win at 84. Bryce Olson with a win over Josh Adel. Mm-hmm. I think it was in sudden victory.
Was it? Yeah,
4-2. So that was a big one, nice positive and bright spot for the Rams. Mm-hmm. Quality win there as well. Speaking of Upper Iowa, they wrestled.
Oh man, I'm going to tell you right now, those 2 schools don't like each other. I don't know if you're aware of that. It must be a border thing right there. So there was some. I was going back and forth, and it was a tough night to officiate. It looked like so. There were some calls that were reviewed. A lot of them actually. There was an injury that happened at 125 that was kind of a swing, possibly a swing, swing decision. It was an injury default, and when I put it on, I don't know if I came back to that or if that's when I first started watching, but they weren't even showing the gym. They were just showing the two announcers, and they were talking. They weren't going to show the video of the injured wrestler. So, ID, I think. Edie from
Decorah, actually.
Decorah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yep. And I'm not sure what happened, but it wasn't good. It doesn't sound like so. Anyway, so it went down, and it was Upper Iowa. Unfortunately, did not win. It was 22-15, but.
Yeah, interesting. Cooper Siebrecht wrestled. Lisbon Prep.
And I understand that 49 Lunsman, is he 49?
Yes,
Chase Lunsman
had a
Monticello.
heck of a battle, evidently. I didn't see that. Unfortunately, I was back and forth, and I missed that one. I heard that was quite a battle, and I think that is it Rathman or Rath the kid he wrestled was like third ranked, I think, and I think Lunsman's like maybe 5th or maybe 7th ranked, something like that. And
Linsman's just a freshman, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Cooper Siebrecht was talking to his dad this weekend. 2 former BV guys talking there at the sectional at Lisbon. I think Cooper's had some battles with a knee injury and stuff like that, and it's good to see him get a win over Max Spots and stuff. So apparently it's one of those things where you just have to suck it up and go at this point of the season, and Cooper's doing that. And kind of interesting seeing a few Iowa kids on the Mankato.
Right.
Zach Johnston.
From ADM.
Kyle's
Russell.
Cooper Siebrecht. I believe Chance That's from Upper Iowa. Chance Stronson is it from Clarksville?
Riceville.
Riceville. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get in trouble from Scott Litter or Jeff Voss for mixing up Clarksville and Riceville.
I got the bill right. That's
Yeah, right. But definitely some recognizable names there.
Well, then
Probably
Louis
Ag
Sanders from Mankato State is I believe a cousin of the Sanders from that wrestled at the University of Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
The Ericksons, Zach.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Wow.
Fun wrestler he was.
Yeah.
Yep. So Upper Iowa's we got one more duel at St. Cloud State, which is a toughie. Obviously.
Number one.
Even at full strength before their super regionals at the end of the month. So.
Yeah, St. Cloud's ranked number one for a reason. They're good.
The duels are starting to wind down and headed towards tournament time.
Yeah, and Upper Iowa just dropped 2 in a row here.
Augustana.
Yeah. But you know what? You regroup from that. They'll have a couple weeks to kind of regroup and prepare and get ready. Not saying they're going to lose 3 in a row, but you'd have to think St. Cloud's pretty
salty.
Yeah, so
Like
kind of a tough way to finish the regular season, but you got time to regroup and get everybody ready for the postseason run there.
Come on, Peacocks.
Any other general comments or observations?
Well,
I know listening to Big Ten Network, it sounded like Kolodzik from Princeton is going to...
pulled his red shirt.
Yep. He's coming out of the Olympic red shirt now and goes right into the fold at 149, which people are talking about, DeSanto possibly being out is going to affect the team race too. Having somebody like Kolodzik come out of red shirt is going to affect the team race as well because he's going to be taking points from somebody. More than likely. So, that could affect things for Iowa and Penn State. Either way.
That makes them a legitimate trophy threat, I would think.
Princeton, yeah.
Top 4, yeah. So
yeah, because you have Kolodzik, you got Pat Glory, you've got Brucky. I believe is it Quincy Monday?
I think you're right.
That wrestles for him too. That's capable. They're going to have 4 or 5 guys that could
hit the podium,
get on the podium, and in a year like this, that's going to be a top 5, type performance, I think.
And did I see them? Did they knock someone off this weekend, Princeton?
Cornell. They snapped Cornell's
92 duel streak. I think it was
in the Ivy League.
In the Ivy League.
Yep.
Is that right?
So.
And we don't know if he wrestled. Did he pull his shirt off then, or
did he?
Yeah,
did he come out for that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I wasn't sure if he was part of that or
because that was of course a key win.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll see. I don't know if we really can expect anybody else to do something like that. I think
especially this late.
Yeah, but I mean, geez, it's interesting decision, and it certainly affects things.
Well, if you're
impacts things,
right? If you're making that decision this late, it's for obvious reasons. One, to become a legitimate trophy threat. Pick which one. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Or in Iowa's case, if that were to happen, to win it. If they don't feel they can do it. That could be a decision. So.
Now that question mark with Ironman becomes even bigger because Mirren's been hurt. I know Happel stepped in and has done well as of late, but you've seen somebody from another program do that. Now all of a sudden, could it happen somewhere else? And
snowball effect, domino effect.
But what you mentioned, that decision, especially if DeSanto weren't to come back,
right,
put another bullet in the chamber by possibly doing that. Mm-hmm. I don't think it'll happen, but of course I thought Cash Wilkie would be the guy at 84, and Abe Assad came out, so they know what they're doing down in Iowa City. So we'll just have to wait and see how that all shakes out, and we'll find out here in the next couple of weeks anyway.
So coming up this week, we talked about Division 1, Division 3. Number 5 Co's at University of Dubuque. Luther is going to be at your alma mater. What's the Beavers' name?
Buford T. Beaver.
Buford T. Beaver. There you go. BV.
Buford T. Beaver is waiting for the Norse.
Yeah, and of course the meet that who knows what will happen at Loras versus Wartburg, and it's going to be
At Wartburg?
Wartburg puts their 200 and some string, is it?
At Wartburg.
Yeah, it's in Waverly.
Yeah, it's 200 plus for sure. I'm not exactly sure what the number is.
I'll let you guys get to this in a minute, so I'll finish this up that's on Thursday. On Friday, Upper Iowa's at #1 St. Cloud, and Cornell is off this week, so they wrestle. I think Augustana. I think midweek, the following week somewhere in there. So you guys were gonna.
Oh,
you mentioned
you're going to be the tiebreaker then?
I'm out of it. I know nothing.
Sergeant Schultz.
That's right.
I love it. You want to go first, or you want me to?
I'll just take. You want to do?
Or we just go weight by weight.
So
let's just go weight by weight.
To let you know, they've decided to go through the work.
No, you decided for us.
Yeah,
You guys said it last week.
I think that was.
You
the
said
case.
it last week, and I'm staying out of it. You could check the tape. So, all right, let's see what you got. So you want to go with? All right, you start at 25.
Yeah, I went with Kiner with a major.
We have a consensus on that. I agree. I've got Kiner with bonus points, so I give. It
kind of depends. This is a little bit tough. I will mention this as well because we don't know exactly who's going to be put out from both schools.
So it was kind of a crapshoot.
So we're kind of guessing as to who might take the mat. You guys mentioned that, so I didn't do it. 33.
I have Rumpf.
#1 Rumpf, ranked Rumpf.
And I have him getting bonus.
I did too. So. Same with me. 41, I went with Fritz.
This could be because you might have, I don't know the situation, but
right.
You have Fritz, who was at one time ranked #1. Now, I'm not sure. I think he dropped and then might come back up again. Who knows? But so very good wrestler, but also Clint Lembeck, who is a 2-time All-American, who hasn't been on the mat lately. So I don't know the situation there, right?
Right,
so,
but I was kind of considering that Lembeck would be wrestling, so I went with Fritz with just a decision.
So you think Lembeck could be on the mat? Okay.
Well, that's the way I figured it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know for sure. I just went with it being Fritz and Lembeck, and I have Lembeck winning if he takes the mat. So I give that one to Loras.
Okay.
The kind of throwing something against the wall there.
Yeah.
A little bit. But.
And then at 49, we're at?
49, I'm kind of in the same boat as I was with 41, kind of assuming, I don't want to say hoping to see, but seeing Rathbun go out and hoping he's successful, and I have Wartburg winning by decision at 49.
And I went with him not wrestling, and Loras winning the match with a regular decision.
Okay.
So
57?
57, I went with Murray.
I have
Loras
Murray as
with
well
a
by
decision.
decision.
Yep.
Okay.
65, 2 ranked wrestlers here, Forsyth and
Eddie Smith.
Smith. Thank you. Smith. Yep.
I have Eddie Smith winning.
I went with Forsyth. Decision, of course, but.
Okay.
And
so 174.
Yeah, and Craig, I went with Krako and Kalo because Kalo wrestled on Augsburg. So, but I had Krako winning.
I have Krako winning as well.
They wrestled earlier this year, and it was Krako did win.
Oh, they did.
And it was a fairly close match, I think.
Was it?
So.
Do we have to pick at 84?
84. I have Briggs with bonus points.
I just had
and
a decision.
I know Leigel's good, but coming off the Augsburg duel, I bet you something. I bet you there's a little magic there.
Well, I hope you're right.
Well, I went with Briggs, but just a regular decision.
Leigel's, from my perspective, they're both very active wrestlers. He's a 4-time state champ out of Wisconsin and then is ranked. We'll see. I hope you're right. Personally, 197.
I'll alter that.
What?
I'll just
keep it. And then 197.
Whose turn, mine or yours?
You got
I went with Patron.
I went with Patron by decision.
Right.
Patron's ranked 1 and Woods is ranked 4.
4th or 5th or something.
I believe, yeah.
And then I have Brandon from Wartburg winning by decision.
That me too.
And then that puts me, if I little adjustment, 17-15. Wartburg by 2.
That's what I had the same score.
Really?
Wow. Okay.
That's
did.
scary.
I like these guys.
Even though we had guys flipped around.
Yeah, we still came up
Interesting.
with
Same score.
Same score.
That's wild.
So,
I think it's going to be a wild meet. So, and
of course, Wartburg hasn't lost a conference duel since February 1994. So, none of these wrestlers were
25
alive
when that started.
So,
Dude, I've even had a few grandkids in that time.
yep. So, kind of interesting
It is.
there. And you said that was at Wartburg
Yep.
on
At 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
Friday.
Thursday.
Thursday
Thursday.
night. So make sure you tune in, watch it, or just show up at Wartburg or Waverly and
Get there early because I think it'll be
There'll be a
more
big
crowded
crowd.
than Augsburg was. Yeah. And that was
Closer travel.
Yeah, and last year it was a rowdy group up in Dubuque. So both Wartburg brought a bus over, and I'm not sure there might have been some refreshments on the bus. It seemed.
oh,
A
I'm not sure that was.
A little Mountain Dew's always good for you.
yeah, right.
I'm
So-
sure Loras will maybe do the same.
So keep an eye out on that, and of course we'll be back next week to break all that down. Any final comments or?
It's just going to be a busy week with the duels on Tuesday, Wednesday, Wartburg Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yep,
Busy week.
that time of year.
In districts, yeah,
Yep.
that's it.
So
And you mentioned it last week. It's sad when kids might be putting on a lace in
their
their shoes
shoes
for last
last
time, and it's just when that happens, it happens. But it's not a fun time, especially when you're so invested with as a coach working with them, the kids, obviously the parents and the family. It's just so we'll get to that in the upcoming.
Next.
yep. So keep viewing for the prep edition, but for the college edition, thanks for watching, and we'll close with our normal saying.
Let's keep wrestling on the move.